In the headlines, displaced persons in Zamfara ask government to rescue abducted villagers. Plateau State confirms first monkeypox case, submits 15 samples for testing. Outgoing OPEC Secretary General paints a promising picture after turbulent year for oil. And on the foreign scene, NATO launches membership process for Sweden and Finland. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Governor Umar Zulum says the state government will open camps for repentant Boko Haram and ISWAP groups in Borno State. The governor, during the inauguration of the repatriation of IDPs from Chad and Niger Republic, as well as merging repentant terrorist communities, urged others to drop their arms and surrender. He mandated the communities to streamline the process of rehabilitating and reintegrating the repentant groups into their communities.
That includes how they will come out, how they will be rehabilitated, how they will be fit in the camp, as well as their reintegration into the society. It's a very cumbersome task. So this committee has these two main mandates. Right now, all the three camps are full. It's a matter of serious concern to all of us. I had a meeting with the theater commander yesterday. I've directed him to look into the possibility of establishing additional bigger camp with a view to accommodating the larger number of defectors who are coming out here in mass. We want to provide secretariat to this committee.
We are going to interface with the committee at the federal level whenever they are here, and we are also going to have constant meeting with the security agencies amongst us to ensure that we have created an enabling environment for the defectors to defect to the Nigerian side without difficulty. Inshallah, in no too distant future, we assure you of submitting the first periodic report of how the committee intends to work, containing our modus operandi and then successes recorded. And same periodic report will be given to you as we make progress into this.
Now, 12 persons were said to have been killed in a clash between bandits and vigilantes in the Zak community of Wasi local government area of Plateau State. Youth leader in Wasi, Shafi'i Sambo, confirmed the unfortunate incident which left 9 bandits and 3 vigilantes dead. Major Ishaku Takwa, spokesperson Operation Safe Haven, a multi-security task force maintaining peace in the state, also confirmed the incident but could not ascertain the casualty figure. Meanwhile, the Kano State Police Command says it has apprehended 2 suspects who specialize in stealing mobile phones with dangerous weapons from passengers while disguising themselves as tricycle riders. This was contained in a statement by the Police Public Relations Officer for the Kano State Command, SP Abdullahi Haruna, on Tuesday. He disclosed that the duo, Muhammad Jidda, who is 20, and 22-year-old Adamu Suleiman, all of Brigade Quarters Kano, were currently being detained at the Bompai Police Headquarters for forcefully snatching phones of Kano residents while posing as commercial tricycle riders. According to him, 3 stolen mobile phones were recovered from the suspects. The Plateau State government says it has recorded a case of monkeypox, while results of 15 other samples taken to Abuja for laboratory tests are being awaited. The State Commissioner for Health, Yakubu Danja, disclosed this on Tuesday, while flagging off the distribution of free medicines and commissioning of Emergency Operations Call Center at the State Primary Healthcare Agency office. Danja said the distribution of the free drugs is a proactive measure against a possible outbreak of the disease, usually associated with rainy season. He also unveiled 140 units of TCW40 Solar Direct Drive vaccine refrigerators received from the NPHCDA for onward distribution to PHCs across the state. A gesture, he said, will improve vaccine storage, potency and reduce the cost of distribution. The Kaduna State chapter of the National Association of the Blind on Monday submitted a complaint to the Kaduna State Disability Affairs Board over attempts by some members to scuttle the association's election. They warned that any attempt to substitute the names of elected officials with others who are not duly elected will not augur well for the unity of the association. You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still to come, after the break, coping with rising food prices. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now, another look at our top stories. Displaced persons in Zamfara ask government to rescue abducted villagers. And Katsina State records the first case of monkeypox. And now moving on to other news. Displaced residents of Mada district of Gusau local government area of Zamfara State are appealing to federal and Zamfara state governments to ensure that the 10 of their family members who are still in bandit captivity are safely rescued and reunited with them. They made the appeal in an exclusive chat with Trust TV News at Barakallahu area of Kwatarkwashi Emirate, where they are currently seeking refuge from bandits who sacked them from their various communities.
Few weeks ago, suspected bandits invaded some villages at Mada district of Gusau local government area of Zamfara State, setting houses, foodstuff and other properties ablaze. They killed and abducted an unspecified number of residents of the communities, while others took to their hills for safety. Barakalal area of Kwatarkwashi Emirate is housing several of the displaced persons who were sacked by the suspected bandits. Mariam Yusufu, one of those who ran from Gidanbai to Barkalau area for safety, narrated the gruesome killing of her husband Yusufu and the aftershock that led to the death of his co-wife. Another displaced woman, who identified herself as Adiza Bai, said the bandits killed her younger brother and her daughter, burned their house, foodstuff and clothing and left them with nothing.
The bandits slaughtered my husband like a ram. After the incident, my co-wife died because of trauma. We don't have what to eat. They burned our community and everything we have. We don't have clothing to wear, food to eat, and no house to live in. They killed our husbands. The bandits abducted 10 persons from our community.
Other victims of the bandit attacks said 10 of their family members are still in captivity, adding that the abductors have demanded 15 million naira as ransom.
The bandits killed my younger brother and my daughter, burned our houses and carted away with our valuables. We don't have anything in the community. We don't have food to eat until we go out to beg before we can get food to eat. We want the government and rich people to assist us with food to eat, clothing to wear, and shelter. They destroyed our communities and rustled our cattle. We are begging the government to restore security and peace, to enable us to go to our communities, to carry out farming of what we would eat.
The village head of Barkalau area of Kwatarkaushi Emirate, Muhammadu Usman, appealed to the state and the federal government to intensify efforts in the fight against banditry so that peace can return to the state and live without fear of terror. People have been helping the displaced persons here with food and clothing, but anyone who left his or her place elsewhere would not have rest of mind because he or she wants peace to be restored so that he or she can return home. We thank the federal and the Zamfara state government for what they have been doing. However, we want them to do more to tackle the insecurity situation to restore peace so that the displaced persons can go back to their homes to carry out farming. The displaced persons' major concerns and prayer are to witness the speedy restoration of peace at various communities and in Zamfara state in general so that they can return to carry out farming activities.
The Kaduna State chapter of the National Association of the Blind on Monday submitted a complaint to the Kaduna State Disability Affairs Board over an attempt by some members to scuttle the association's elections. They warned that any attempt to substitute the names of the elected officials with others who are not duly elected will not augur well for the unity of the association. The report.
The move, according to the association, is to get back into the election, which they said was free and fair, and also to nip in the bud any divisions that may arise as an aftermath of the exercise. Some people want to create confusion by substituting the elected officials with others. We won't allow such to happen. Receiving the complaint, the Kaduna State Disability Affairs Board assured of addressing issues raising the complaint and call on them to remain calm.
They did their elections as required by all of their organizations. So somebody wrote a petition, one of them wrote a petition concerning the election. So we had to look into that issue of the petition. So in a bit to look into the matter, we had to invite other ESCOs from the national, not only the state. So we had a sitting, a lot of deliberations, and we have not yet reached a conclusion. We are yet to reach a conclusion. So this is all hearsay. So I want them to please calm down because we're supposed to still sit this week, then take a final decision on the whole issue.
The association says it is confident that the board will be fair in resolving the fracas.
And the National Population Commission, NPC, says 1 million Nigerians will be recruited by the federal government for the conduct of the 2023 national census. The Commission assured that a reliable technological innovation had been advanced by the NPC for the conduct of the exercise to prevent politicians and interested elite from hijacking or manipulating the process. The Commissioner representing Ekiti at the NPC, Deji Ajayi, said this in Ado Ekiti at a press conference heralding the trial census to be conducted in the state preparatory to next year's main census exercise. The former Ekiti State Head of Service added that 9 towns across local governments selected out of the 16 local government areas in the state had been delineated into enumerated areas to ease the trial census. Meanwhile, following the decision by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to extend the continuous voter registration beyond the initial June 30th deadline, electoral officers have continued with the exercise nationwide. The decision, which followed concerns about disenfranchisement of many Nigerians who are yet to register, led to the creation of new registration centers to cater for the large influx of registrants. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu visited one of the centers in the FCT and now reports.
The Independent National Electoral Commission in the last few weeks has received knocks from Nigerians following the hiccups witnessed by many registrants in some registration centers in the country. This, alongside the like number of people yet to register, informed the deadline extension decision by Mahmoud Yakubu, chairman of the commission. A visit to some newly created centers in the FCT reveals that the situation is not different. There are also complaints about the unprofessional conduct of the Commission's staff in some states and the shortage of registration machines, personnel, as well as network challenges.
The situation is seriously the registration process is very, very slow. The people doing the registration, they will take like 30 minutes to 40 minutes attending to just one person. You understand? And the numbers of people attending to people, they are very few. You understand? So the registration process is just very, 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 very slow.
I'm in Lagos, I'm not in Abuja, so I came all the way from Lagos to Abuja, so because of this particular issue. Let me know that in Abuja everything is going perfect. I wonder that I've been here since morning, since 7 o'clock in the morning, so I've been on the line without taking any food, no water, so I just want to, because I know that what I'm passing through will be that the same thing everyone is passing through, because I see people surrendering over this place.
However, some registrants commend the Commission's commitment to ensure that as many Nigerians as possible get their names on the voters' register ahead of the 2023 general elections.
It's a welcome development because what we already had before, there's so many people yet not registered, so many people want to register, they were already scrambling, people were not putting pressure to get registered, but now with that extension, I think it will give more voters opportunity to get registered and then be able to make their choice in the election.
Meanwhile, as the July 1 to 15 window for the upload of the list and personal particulars of nominated candidates by political parties approaches, INEC has urged parties to properly scrutinize documents to avoid any mix-up and duplication of names. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And Nigerians are lamenting the rising cost of living following soaring food prices as inflation hits a 4-year high. In this report, Ibrahim Ismail from Gombe reports that there's an air of uncertainty among majority of Nigerians as inflation is set for the 8th consecutive monthly increase. The report.
This is the residence of Dr. Habib Muhammad, residing in Tabra area along Gombe bypass. He caters for a family of 10. He said taking care of his family has been very challenging due to inflation. He said prices of basic amenities are highly exorbitant, pushing beyond his affordability limits.
This is because of the hike in food prices. Whatever you used to buy a few years ago, like 100 naira, it is now almost 300. Not just, it is thrice the price you used to buy it. If I may give an example, a few years ago, we used to buy maize, that's corn. The bag is about 7,000, 8,000. This is just 5 years, 5, 6 years. It's about 7,000, 8,000. But now the price is 17, 18, 19. There was a time that the price was more than 20,000. When you look at rice as well, the price is now 19, 17, 18, 19, 20,000. This is per bag.
Habib urged government and other stakeholders to intervene by regulating prices of commodities in markets.
Definitely nobody can do that except the authority, because it is a responsibility of the authority to checkmate the inflation. This is because we don't have shortage of these items. We don't have shortage of rice, shortage of maize. When you go to markets, you see it in abundance. But because of the inflation, so the prices are always hiking.
This year, people from different parts of the world have been crying over high cost of living, a factor that affects the poor and the rich in developed and developing countries, just like in the United Kingdom and Nigeria. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
The outgoing Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, Mohammed Barkindo, has expressed confidence that the worst is over and the future looks promising for the organization, having survived the major turbulences in 2016 and 2020. The outgoing Secretary General was speaking when he was received by President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House, Abuja. Barkindo attributed his success to the guidance of President Buhari, support from OPEC Secretariat in Vienna, and cooperation by members of the organization. He explained that amidst COVID-19, the organization took a decision to withdraw 9.6 million barrels per day from the market, the highest ever adjustment in its history for a duration of 2 years. President Buhari expressed the nation's gratitude to the outgoing Secretary General of OPEC, and directed the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to mobilize the oil and gas industry to honor the outgoing Secretary General.
Now, in the summer of 2016, prices had plunged to -10 US dollars a barrel as a result of the buildup of inventories, stocks of both crude oil and petroleum products around the world to a level that was never seen in history. It had reached over 400 million barrels a day over the industry's 5-year average, and hence prices plunged to -10 US dollars. It was very obvious to me, Mr. President, that this was beyond OPEC alone to address. And therefore, we needed to get the support of other leading producers around the world.
You have given experienced administrative management to OPEC in the past 6 years, and your efforts have placed the organization in a stronger position to confront the challenges it will face in the coming years. The government and people of Nigeria are indeed proud of you and your achievements. I have directed the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the NNPC to mobilize the Nigerian oil and gas industry to organize a befitting welcome reception in your honor.
The House of Representatives on Tuesday lamented the failure by the leadership of government agencies in charge of fuel supply to respond to its invitations and read a riot act to them. The agencies are the NNPC Limited, the CBN, the Petroleum Products Marketing Company PPMC Limited, the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the Federal Ministry of Finance, and the Accountant General of the Federation's Office. The Deputy Minority Leader in the House, Peter Patterson, who read the riot act on behalf of the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, said the investigative hearing was designed to give opportunity to stakeholders to interact with members of the committee. He stressed that the absence of representatives from the agencies was unacceptable to Parliament since they held the responsibility of managing fuel supply, but they were reluctant to show accountability. The Debt Management Office on Monday announced the listing of 2 FGN savings bonds for subscription for the month of July. It stated that the first is a 2-year savings bond due on June 15, 2024 at an interest rate of 8.2% per annum. The second is a 3-year savings bond due on June 15, 2025 at the interest rate of 9.2% per annum. The bonds were offered at 1,000 naira per unit. They are subject to a minimum subscription of 5,000 naira in multiples of 1,000 and a maximum subscription of 50 million naira. It added that the bonds were backed by the full faith and credit of the federal government and charged upon the general assets of Nigeria. Now look at the foreign scene, where NATO on Tuesday kicked off ascension procedures for Sweden and Finland, aiming to expand the military alliance to 32 countries in reaction to Russia's war in Ukraine. NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg described the day as historic for Finland, Sweden, NATO and for the Euro-Atlantic security. The 2 Nordic countries had long maintained non-alignment status, even though they have held exercises with NATO and have interoperable weapons systems. The month-long period during which all NATO countries have to ratify the Nordic countries' membership is a risky moment, not only because of Turkey's threat, but also because the NATO Mutual Defense Clause is not yet applicable. Now for a quick look at sports, where Manchester United are unsure whether Cristiano Ronaldo will fly out with the team on Friday for the pre-season tour of Thailand and Australia. Ronaldo has not reported back to training at Carrington, citing family reasons, which the club has accepted. His absence comes as he wants to leave Old Trafford this summer if a suitable offer arrives. Ronaldo was due to rejoin his teammates on Monday, but has instead been keeping fit at Portugal's training base. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.